Reincarnation of the strongest sword god. Chapter 11 Black Steel Beer. After leaving Red Leaf Town, Shi Feng brought Blackie along as they headed straight towards Dark Moon Valley. Brother Feng, we're on the path towards Dark Moon Valley. That's a level 4 monster area. Can't we choose a safer place? Seeing that Shi Feng's target was level 4 monsters, Blackie couldn't help but ask nervously. Challenging higher levels in God's domain was extremely difficult. Usually, players would just challenge monsters that are one level higher than themselves. Challenging monsters 2 levels higher required at least a 6-man party for it to be possible. However, even 6-man parties wouldn't carry out such an action. Compared to exhausting themselves just to kill a single level 3 monster, it was much more efficient to just kill a level 2 monster. Shi Feng and Blackie were only 2 people. Ignoring Shi Feng, who was a level 2 swordsman, Blackie himself was still a level 0 cursemancer. He was just free food to a level 4 monster. Going against level 4 monsters just with the 2 of them was utterly suicide. Shi Feng only smiled regarding Blackie's worries. He securely said, "Relax, can't you see that I'm already level 2? That friend of mine is an expert beta tester. If it weren't for our good relation, he wouldn't even tell me such a secret. You can just wait to get on the leveling rocket." Shi Feng pushed all the problems that came with him being a reincarnated person onto his good friend. Now all his actions in God's domain could be easily answered, too. He also didn't have to explain much since Blackie would easily believe him. This was because a beta tester was the best explanation. As expected of Brother Feng, you're still the greatest. No wonder you didn't join Shadow Workshop to earn money. With an expert beta tester giving you pointers, you could definitely earn a lot of money in God's domain. The happiness of my body's lower half will depend on you now. Blackie laughingly said as he became relieved. When joined the party before, he was very surprised to see Shi Feng already at level 2. Currently, there had yet to be any news of a level 2 player in Red Leaf Town. Even elites of a workshop were no exception. However, Shi Feng had reached it. His leveling speed was absolutely terrifying. Blackie knew about Shi Feng's standards. Although his skills weren't bad, he definitely wasn't that good. Before, Blackie still had some suspicions about the news of the beta tester. However, all his worries disappeared after seeing Shi Feng's level, because only a beta tester could make something like this happen. Blackie had also started believing the possibility of Shi Feng earning 16,000 credits in 10 days. Scram. This brother's straight. Shi Feng rolled his eyes at Blackie, slightly widening the distance between them. However, Blackie's gaze still carried some impurities, causing Shi Feng to panic slightly. What are you thinking, Brother Feng? My dream lover is the snow goddess, Gentle Snow. Blackie hurriedly explained. The snow goddess. Shi Feng had a very deep impression of this woman. She had performed extremely outstanding in other virtual games. Not only did she possess an absolutely beautiful face and devilish body, but she also had a proud attitude which was backed up by her excellent battle techniques. Because of these traits, she became even better received by the public. After 3 years since God's domain's opening, she had become a top-tier expert within the whole country. She was also the top 10 berserker within the country. She was dubbed as the battle goddess. She had starred in plenty of commercials. Her personal net worth at that time had exceeded tens of billions of credits. Not only that, but she was also the vice guild leader of Ouroboros. Millions of players would move with her single command. During those times, Shi Feng was only a minor character within God's domain. He could only look up to Gentle Snow's shadow. Unfortunately, sometime later, Gentle Snow suddenly vanished from God's domain. Her disappearance became a hot topic within God's domain for some time. Brother Feng, look, that's an elite monster. Blackie pointed towards a snow-white fox in the distant paddy field as he shouted. Shi Feng looked over to the golden fields, discovering a white-colored fox. There was even a little rabbit in the fox's mouth right now. Cunning Snow Fox Rare Elite. Level 2. HP 450. Blackie, your eyesight and luck are seriously too good. You even spotted a rare elite. We're going to earn a fortune this time. Shi Feng stealthily walked closer to the fox as he directed Blackie. You just attack from a distance and leave the rest to me. Rare elites were a special type of elite. They had the same capabilities as a normal elite monster, but the rewards they give out were a lot greater. It would take a long time for it to respawn after being killed. Whether you could meet one depended on your luck. Brother Feng, you must be crazy. That's a level 2 elite. We can't go against it. Blackie wanted to stop Shi Feng. Only a small party of the same level could deal with an elite. Fighting one alone, without any healing, would definitely lead to death. However, Blackie was too late. Shi Feng had quickly circled to the snow fox's back, launching a sudden attack. Chop. A sword strike flew. The snow fox's actions were very nimble. It immediately avoided a vital hit to its abdomen, taking only 32 damage. Such nimble actions. Its defense isn't low either. Shi Feng made a quick judgment after observing how the snow fox dodged and took damage. He had the might of 1,000 title, so all his attributes were increased by 10%. There was also an additional 5 points to both strength and endurance, increasing his strength to 13 and endurance to 10. His agility was also increased to 17 points. Now his attack power was 29, and he had 260 HP. With great speeds, the enraged snow fox bit towards Shi Feng's neck. It activated the skill Fatal Blow. However, with 17 agility, Shi Feng's speed was not any slower than the snow fox. By the time the snow fox had rushed over, Shifeng's novice sword had already struck down towards the fox's head. Shifeng only had 13 points of strength. It was still not enough to block the snow fox's attack. 49 damage appeared above Shifeng's head, and his novice sword's durability decreased by 1 point, as well. On the other hand, the snow fox only received 5 damage. The gap between the two of them was as clear as day. We're dead. We're dead. We're so dead this time. Sweat started appearing on Blackie's forehead. He had seen damage from common monsters, but he never imagined that there was such a great difference from an elite monster. Shifeng was lucky he had blocked the attack with his sword, only taking close to 50 damage. If the attack landed on his body, wouldn't it be over 100? Shifeng had reached level 2 with great difficulty. If he died this time, he would return to level 1, his great advantage over others would be gone. Move, Blackie, Shifeng shouted. He really must have gone mad. Fine, at worst I'll just die once. I'm still level 0, anyway. Blackie clenched his teeth and started chanting a curse, his hands making gestures. A dark arrow shot out, dealing 5 damage to the snow fox. Blackie sucked in a deep breath when he saw the damage. He had added all his points into intelligence, yet 5 damage was all he could do. An elite monster's defense was just terrifying. Shifeng, who was facing the snow fox, was under even more pressure. The snow fox had very high agility. It was able to dodge whenever Shifeng wanted to use chop. In the end, Shifeng could only use normal slashes, dealing 18 damage each time. However, each successful bite from the snow fox would deal over 100 damage. It was greatly disproportionate. 10 seconds later, Shifeng's HP fell to 31, while the snow fox still had 244. I guess there's still no way to directly face off against an agility-type elite with such a small amount of skills. Shifeng looked at the snow fox's half-remaining HP. If he continued to drag on this fight, he would be the one to die. He had to start bursting. Shifeng took out a bottle of black steel beer from his bag. After taking 2 mouthfuls, he became slightly drunk, and his vision started becoming blurry. He then activated gravity liberation, his speed increasing by a huge leap. He arrived at the snow fox's side with lightning speed. When Shifeng looked at the snow fox's level again, it displayed level 0, whereas he was level 2. Suddenly, the suppression due to level difference was removed, letting Shifeng's damage rise. Similarly, however, his body became difficult to control. Die. Shifeng's eyes were icy cold, his grip around the novice sword tightened. Thundering flash. Wah, wah, wah. 3 lightning quick slashes struck past the snow fox's waist, causing it to let out a tragic cry. Damages of -30, -36, -42 appeared on top of its head, instantly taking away a quarter of its HP. Afterward, another chop dealt 43 damage to it. The snow fox desperately resisted, but Shifeng's speed after activating gravity liberation was very fast. Even if he was in a drunken state, with his many years of battle experiences, Shifeng could still easily maneuver his body. This had placed the snow fox at an absolute disadvantage. Damn, what did you drink, Brother Feng? You're suddenly so fierce. Blackie's eyes nearly popped out of their sockets as he saw Shifeng's cheat-like performance. At this moment, the fierce snow fox had become Shifeng's plaything. It had 0 chance at resisting. When the snow fox had 42 HP remaining, Shifeng was about to give the last strike. Suddenly, Shifeng felt a shiver going down the back of his neck. It was as if he had a dagger pointed at his neck. It was a terrible feeling. Shifeng instinctively leapt forward. In the next moment, a bright snowy dagger had slashed across his original position. Shifeng had surprisingly avoided that strike. Behind Shifeng, a figure with an extremely surprised expression revealed himself. He had already kept his presence hidden incredibly well, he did not even let out a single sound. Not only that, after he had raised to level 1, his agility had reached 10 points. However, his sneak attack had actually been dodged. What sort of intuition did Shifeng have? Friend, we have no hatred or enmity between us. It isn't good doing something like this. Shifeng focused his gaze on the newly appeared assassin as he coldly said so. If you wish to place blame, then blame yourself for angering a shadow. It is too late even if you regret it now. Quiet Wolf said excitedly. He held his dagger in reverse grip, paying attention to Shifeng's every movement. Quiet Wolf had been following Shifeng while also reporting his location. He never imagined that they would meet an elite monster. The snow fox's current target was Shifeng. Although Shifeng had good skills, with the snow fox holding him back, Quiet Wolf could definitely find a chance to kill of Shifeng's remaining strand of life, then he could kill the snow fox. There were only benefits for him. As for the cursemancer on the side, he was just garbage that was not even worth mentioning. Naturally, the snow fox wouldn't care about any of this. It just knew that it had to kill Shifeng. The snow fox suddenly bellowed, its snow-white skin turning into a flaming red. Its body also increased in size and its HP rose by 20%. Then, the snow fox activated its final skill, Tearing Bite. The skill amplified its damage by 50%, also causing a bleeding damage of 30, lasting for 5 seconds. You can go and regret, now. I'll take care of this snow fox in your stead. Quiet Wolf rushed at Shifeng. He was prepared to kill off Shifeng the moment he dodged the snow fox. Chapter 12: A Timeful Parry. System. Player Quiet Wolf has attacked you and entered a yellow name state. Duration of 1 hour. Any players who attack yellow name players will not receive any penalty. Shi Feng only had 31 HP remaining. Being attacked from both sides by the Snow Fox and Quiet Wolf put Shi Feng in a very dangerous position. Despicable. Standing at a distance, Blackie scolded Quiet Wolf for sneaking an attack at such a moment. However, he couldn't change a thing about it. The two of them were too far apart. It was too hard for him to land a hit on Quiet Wolf. He could only aim his attack on the Snow Fox, hoping to kill it off a second earlier and not letting Quiet Wolf profit off of them. Although mages had high output, compared to hitting monsters, it was far harder to land a hit on players unless they stood still without moving. This was because the moment the dark arrow shot out, there would be a prediction line appearing. In a situation where the distance was great, players with good standards could usually dodge it. If it was an expert, then dodging it would be a piece of cake. Just as the Snow Fox and Quiet Wolf were about to rush up, the corners of Shi Feng's mouth revealed a cold smile. He had been interacting with Quiet Wolf in shadow for years now, so he was extremely familiar with Quiet Wolf's strengths and habits. Shi Feng took 2 steps back, forming a perfect triangle between the Snow Fox and Quiet Wolf. Shi Feng gripped the novice sword tightly in front of his chest. He stood there without moving as he awaited the arrival of their attacks. Did he give up? Quiet Wolf started looking down on Shi Feng when he saw Shi Feng preparing to block with his sword. Although players could reduce the damage received by defending the attack, the Snow Fox was an elite. Even if Shi Feng could defend it, the attack would still cause around 50 damage. With just 31 HP remaining, Shi Feng couldn't even take a hit. The Snow Fox was a step ahead, biting towards Shi Feng. Tearing bite. Just in time. Instead of retreating, Shi Feng advanced. He rushed towards the Snow Fox. The novice sword blocked the Snow Fox in its mouth. Using the life-saving skill parry, Shi Feng could block a frontal attack once. Shi Feng then continued by lifting the Snow Fox. The Snow Fox had low power, so Shi Feng had easily tossed it towards Quiet Wolf. Everything happened too quickly. Quiet Wolf, who was rushing towards Shi Feng, could not react in time. In an instant, his shoulder was bitten by the Snow Fox. A damage of -164 appeared on Quiet Wolf's head. His HP was instantly cleared down to 0. How? Quiet Wolf was unbelievably shocked. His heart was filled with unwillingness as he stared at Shi Feng's ridiculing smile. He never imagined that players could do such a thing. If he had known about it, he definitely wouldn't rush forward, just to get himself killed. At this point, regardless of how unwilling Quiet Wolf was, his HP had turned to 0. His body could only fall and turn into starlight. He had even dropped a piece of equipment. In the distance, Blackie became dumbfounded. He had even forgotten to attack the Snow Fox. Blackie, stop daydreaming. Hurry up and attack the Snow Fox. Shi Feng yelled and rushed at the Snow Fox again. After Blackie started reacting again, he chanted a curse, madly attacking the Snow Fox. Without Quiet Wolf's disturbance, the near-death Snow Fox was just a decoration. Within 10 seconds, the Snow Fox released a wail before falling down. System. Rare Elite Cunning Snow Fox killed. Obtained 130 Express. Shi Feng was level 2 now, so this amount of Express was nothing to him. What Shi Feng was concerned about was the loot. Rare Elites were the love of all God's domain players because of their shocking drop rates. Furthermore, this was the first kill of the Snow Fox, so the loot must be even better. It can't be. It actually dropped a weapon. Shi Feng obtained a staff and armguard. Blackwood Staff, bronze rank. Level 1. Equipment requirements. Strength 5. Attack power +8. Intelligence +3. Vitality +1. Mana +30. Durability 2020. This equipment would greatly strengthen a mage. Not only was its attack power high, it even gave an additional 3 intelligence. If a mage equipped it, then their damage might increase up to 2 levels. Fox Skin Gloves, common rank. Leather armor. Level 1. Equipment requirements. Strength 3. Defense +4. Durability 2020. On the other hand, Quiet Wolf had contributed a pair of level 0 common leathered shoes with +3 defense. And here I thought it was some great trash equipment. It seems Quiet Wolf's luck isn't that bad, being able to obtain a piece of common equipment. Shi Feng had a different view of Quiet Wolf now. Obtaining a piece of common equipment at the starting period of the game definitely depended on luck. However, Quiet Wolf's luck now benefited Shi Feng instead. Swordsmen could wear both plate armor and cloth armor. Now that Shi Feng had 2 of these new items, his defense had increased by a lot. Blackie, your equipment. Shi Feng passed the Blackwood Staff to Blackie. However, Blackie did not receive the equipment. He had a hesitant look on his face. Killing the Snow Fox depended entirely on Shi Feng. Blackie wasn't of much help, yet he had received the best equipment, a piece of bronze equipment no less. At this stage of the game, there weren't many players capable of owning such an item. It was extremely valuable. What's happened to you? Aren't we good brothers? Why are you being courteous with me? Besides, you're a cursemancer. Once you've reached level 1, you can fully exert the staff's greatest capabilities. With that, we can level even faster. Shi Feng said in a serious tone as if he knew what Blackie was thinking. After some thought, Blackie was able to make sense of it. He no longer refused it, saying, thanks. I'll definitely use it properly. Now, that's much better. Shi Feng laughed. Let's go. We're going to Dark Moon Valley. Red Leaf Town. Quiet Wolf, what were you even doing? Not only did you die, you've even dropped a piece of expensive equipment. Do you know how precious that equipment is? Flaming Tiger snapped as he cursed. Quiet Wolf's expression was as gloomy as dark water. That pair of shoes was something he had obtained after grinding for 7 hours, and now he had actually lost it. Even his heart was bleeding right now. Although he had wanted to explain, he did not know how to. Should he say how he was toyed with by Xi Feng? That wasn't something he was willing to admit. However, even if he wanted to snatch the equipment back, he wasn't an opponent for Xi Feng. Brother Tiger, I discovered a rare elite in the wild. I didn't think I would be discovered by that kid when I was about to kill off the elite. That kid had even brought along another person. In a 1 versus 3 situation, I wasn't their opponent at all. Quiet Wolf pretended to be enraged as he turned black into white. He continuously tempted Flaming Tiger. That brat should have killed the rare elite by now. He must have obtained some good equipment. They were on the path towards Dark Moon Valley. We could still catch up to them if we chase after them. We might even be able to get back the equipment. Rare elite. Flaming Tiger's eyes started to shine. He no longer questioned Quiet Wolf. Instead, he was extremely interested in the loot of the rare elite. He said excitedly, "Let's go. We'll immediately chase after them. They actually dare to steal my equipment. I will make them regret even playing God's domain." Within a short moment, Flaming Tiger gathered all the members of Shadow Workshop present in Red Leaf Town. He brought along 11 workshop members and rushed towards Dark Moon Valley. No matter what, he wanted to kill off Xi Feng and obtain his equipment. At this moment, Xi Feng and Blackie had already arrived at Dark Moon Valley. There was a smithy beside the flowing creek. Xi Feng and Blackie quietly stood in front of it. They were looking at a barrel-chested, middle-aged uncle. In his hand, the man wielded a steel hammer. Ding, dang. He kept hammering on the crimson-red ore. Time slowly flowed by, bit by bit. "Brother Feng, are we still going to wait? It's already been half an hour now." Blackie said. "We have to wait. Without patience, he won't give us the quest." Xi Feng affirmed. In his previous life, hammer trading had passed by this place on accident. He had discovered a smithy here. However, the blacksmith here didn't pay any attention to him regardless of how hammer trading talked to him. This had enraged hammer trading, so he decided to drag it on with the blacksmith. He kept standing to the side, sending death glares to the blacksmith. He had never imagined that after some time, the blacksmith would actively speak up. Not only that, the blacksmith even gave out a hidden quest. This had allowed hammer trading to learn the forging talent, becoming the forging master of the era. When Xi Feng thought about obtaining the forging talent, coupling it with the book of forging, advancing into an advanced forging apprentice became a very easy task. When that time came, gold coins would rain into his pockets. After waiting for more than 10 minutes, "Do you two have an interest in forging?" the middle-aged blacksmith suddenly asked. "Yes, sir. We've loved forging since we were young," Xi Feng immediately said. The middle-aged blacksmith nodded his head, saying in a satisfied tone, "Then since you love forging, I can teach it to you. But first, could you help me retrieve 100 pieces of meteorite ore? They can be found on the west side of Crimson Star Mine." "Of course. We would gladly be at your service," Xi Feng respectfully answered. System, Hidden Quest, Road of Forging, accepted. Player is requested by Forging Master Jack to obtain 100 pieces of meteorite ore from Crimson Star Mine. Crimson Star Mine was the nest of level 4 kobolds. These monsters loved ore the most. They would spend every day mining within the mines. As such, kobolds were born with great strength. However, they had short limbs. Because they stayed underground for long periods of time, their range of vision was short. They could only detect enemies within a 35-yard distance. This distance was also the maximum range of attack for a mage. At the mine's entrance, there were many kobolds walking around. An entire group of them would be attracted even if only one of them was attacked. Kobold. Level 4. HP 420. Here. First, some food and drink to fill ourselves. We'll start work after that. Xi Feng brought out a black steel beer and an apple pie. Blackie didn't understand what Xi Feng was trying to do, but since it was Xi Feng's request, he must have his own reasons. Blackie sat down and started eating. 10 seconds after eating the apple pie, all of Blackie's attributes were suddenly increased by +1 points, the effect lasting 30 minutes. After drinking the black steel beer, Blackie's vision started becoming hazy. When he looked at the distant level 4 kobolds, their levels were suddenly reduced by 2, becoming level 2. Alright, let's start then. A bottle of black steel beer's drunken effect only lasts 30 minutes. Xi Feng stood up. He took out a smoke bomb and walked closer to the mine's entrance. Then, he threw it at the group of level 4 kobolds. There were currently over 10 of them there. Smoke bomb. Able to reduce the visibility in a radius of 10 by 10 yards. Duration of 1 hour. The smoke bomb was able to reduce a monster's vision by 10 yards. It wasn't particularly useful against other monsters. However, it was great when facing kobolds. Their vision was now reduced to 25 yards. As long as a mage attacked from a 30-yard distance, the kobolds would not be able to spot them at all. They could only stand there and wait for their deaths. Attack. Xi Feng pointed to the kobolds within the smoke. Blackie was half doubting Xi Feng's actions, but he still chose to believe in Xi Feng. His mouth started chanting a curse. A moment later, a dark arrow shot out, landing directly on the foremost kobold. Chapter 13 Blackie's Good Luck. The kobold within the smoke was hit, 21 damage appearing above his head. The kobold became furious after being inexplicably attacked. Like a searchlight, the kobold looked around in all directions with his blood-red eyes. Such an action had also caused the other kobolds to start being on guard. Within the forest, Blackie's heartbeat kept on speeding up. He was extremely panicked. Although the kobolds looked to be level 2, their attributes 100% belonged to a level 4. Drinking the black steel beer allowed a player to become drunk, significantly increasing the player's courage. As a result, all enemies seen by the player would have their levels reduced by 2. However, this would not reduce the kobolds' attributes. If these kobolds came rushing at them, only death awaited Shifeng and Blackie. Yet, Blackie's worries were for naught. The attacked kobold looked at its surroundings. However, it did not discover any enemies. After whining for a bit, it returned to its original state. The other kobolds also stopped paying attention to their deranged companion as they continued walking about. Relax. They won't attack us as long as you maintain a 30-yard distance. Shifeng clapped Blackie's shoulders as he confidently commented. He had been planning all this ahead of time. Otherwise, he wouldn't have spent that much money buying all those items. Blackie became even more courageous after Shifeng's encouragement. He continuously chanted curses and shot out dark arrows. The kobold only had 420 HP, and it couldn't withstand Blackie's bombardment at all. After receiving more than 20 dark arrows, it breathed its final breath. Meanwhile, the other kobolds by its side did not show any reaction at all. Blackie became excited when he saw the first kobold fall. He had killed a monster 4 levels higher. Although the express was shared due to being in a 2-man party, the amount of express he received was still plenty. His experience had risen by 5% within an instant. This meant that Blackie would level up after killing 20 kobolds. He was even safe and unharmed. If the monsters did not disappear completely, their leveling speed would be terrifying. With such a great way of leveling, they would be able to rise even to level 6 very effectively. Blackie now understood why Shifeng was so confident. Even if they had wasted several hours from traveling, being able to grind on monsters here was definitely worth it. After a while, the group of 20 or so kobolds in front of the mine's entrance was cleared out completely. Blackie had also raised to level 1. After he equipped the Blackwood staff and added all his free ability points into intelligence, his damage was increased by a large leap. He could now take away 45 HP from the kobolds in a single hit. Meanwhile, the group of kobolds had dropped 12 copper coins in a level 3 common cloth armor. There were also 5 pieces of meteorite ore. Blackie's luck was quite good. According to what Shifeng had known, the drop rate of meteorite ore from the kobolds was not high, only 1 would drop out of 10 of them. Nearly 1,000 kobolds needed to be killed to obtain 100 pieces of meteorite ore. Now, however, just a group kobolds had given them 5 pieces of meteorite ore. After storing the drops, Shifeng went on to lure more monsters. With the advantage of his 16 agility, Shifeng's speed was faster than the kobolds. Within moments, he had lured over 30 kobolds. He also maintained the distance of around 20 yards, but not exceeding 25 yards. When he had lured all the kobolds into the smoke cloud, Shifeng increased his speed abruptly. He quickly distanced himself over 25 yards from the kobolds, causing them to lose their target. After losing their target, the kobolds stood on the spot in a daze. Blackie, who stood over 30 yards away, took the chance to attack. The group of over 30 kobolds took less than 10 minutes to be cleared. They dropped another 21 coppers and 6 pieces of meteorite ore. Shifeng and Blackie's experience also greatly increased. In such a way, Shifeng continued luring monsters while Blackie continued dealing damage. Although the process felt mechanical and boring, Blackie was not complaining one tiny bit. On the contrary, he became even more vigorous with each kill. He wished he could just kill all day without resting. After an hour, Blackie's level had also risen to level 2. His dark arrow rose to level 3, and his damage went from more than 40 to more than 60. Such a rocket-like leveling speed made him speechlessly happy, giving him even more motivation to aim for level 3. Their kobold killing efficiency also increased by quite a bit with Blackie's greatly improved damage. The only downside was the increase in MP consumption following the dark arrow's level up. Fortunately, there was the magic water that Shifeng had bought. With it, Blackie could fully regenerate his MP before Shifeng had lured a new group of monsters, allowing him to deal damage without pause. Meanwhile, Shifeng was observing Blackie's condition while he lured a suitable number of kobolds. Other than that, he was just picking up the loot. The number of copper coins and meteorite ore were steadily increasing. After another hour of Blackie's effort, they had managed to collect 73 pieces of meteorite ore, 6 pieces of common equipment, and 264 coppers. They would be able to gather the remaining meteorite ore if they grinded for another hour. The system notification rang out just at this moment. System, player Lonely Snow has sent you 10 coppers. Subsequently, Shifeng received a communication request. The person contacting him was Lonely Snow. Shifeng had just finished luring a group of monsters. Since he had nothing to do, he accepted the call request. Hello, brother expert. I'm Lonely Snow. We met before at the town hall, and you've even pointed me to a grinding spot. That place was just too great. There wasn't anybody stealing mobs from me, and I could also easily handle them. I'm already level 2 now. I've also looted a lot of materials and copper coins. I've already mailed you the 10 coppers. I wonder if you've received it. Lonely Snow was extremely excited. Previously, he was worried that this expert would not bother with him any longer. This was because experts were usually very proud, they wouldn't even look at minor characters like him. Lonely Snow had earned over 60 coppers from that treasured location he purchased. His level had even risen to level 2, leading the other players by quite a lot. Spending 20 coppers for this were definitely worth it. So it was you. I've received the 10 coppers. Shifeng only remembered about it after being reminded. Indeed there was such a matter. However, that was when he needed the money to kill the town mayor a little earlier, so he had just casually given out some pointers. He didn't really mind regarding the remaining 10 coppers. Brother expert, the level 2 dungeon Deathly Forest has already been opened, so I wanted to invite you to dive into the dungeon. My friends are all veterans, and they're all level 2 now. They will definitely not drag you down. Of course, all swordsman equipment obtained from the dungeon will belong to you. Do you perhaps have the time? Lonely Snow was slightly nervous. Experts usually disdained bringing along other people, especially rookie newbies. It was the reason why Lonely Snow mentioned that there were level 2 veterans in the party. He was afraid Shifeng would just outright reject him. Deathly Forest. Shifeng had a deep impression of this dungeon. As long as the number of level 2 players in Red Leaf Town reaches a certain amount, the first level 2 dungeon in Red Leaf Town, Deathly Forest would be opened. Along with the Deathly Forest's opening, players of God's domain were made known to the difficulty of dungeons. Deathly Forest was only conquered after many players had reached level 4 or 5. Meanwhile, Deathly Forest's true purpose was to increase the number of skills a player could possess. The monsters within the dungeon mainly dropped the basic skill books for every job. However, the most precious item within the dungeon was the forging design. Only the final boss, Werewolf Fellet, dropped it with a very low probability. Shifeng was very interested in this forging design. If he could learn it, then he would be able to further progress in his plans. Fine. However, I have a condition of my own. I will be bringing a cursemancer, so all cursemancer and swordsman equipment will belong to me. Also, I want all materials and design papers that the boss drops. If you all are willing to agree to this condition, then I can go with you. Shifeng had just casually asked for the majority of the profits. However, he did not feel anything wrong with it. Lonely Snow started sweating all over after hearing Shifeng's condition. As expected, an expert's asking price was definitely high. However, when Lonely Snow considered the strengths of a beta tester, he still reluctantly agreed. Alright then, I agree. I'll tell it to the others. Expert, when will you be free to come? We'll meet at the dungeon's entrance in another 2 or so hours. Shifeng estimated Blackie's killing speed. In over an hour, they would definitely be able to finish gathering the 100 pieces of meteorite ore. That's good. Then I'll start preparing over here. I'll see you at the dungeon's entrance, brother expert. Lonely Snow ended the call, a heavy weight being freed from him. At this moment, there were 3 other people standing beside Lonely Snow. Every one of them was level 2. What did that expert say? A handsome ranger asked. Lonely Snow explained it to them word for word. What dog's fart expert? He's just here to take advantage and rip off equipment from us. What's the point of inviting him? If we add another 2 damage dealers, we can enter the dungeon all the same. A shield warrior angrily cursed. The male cleric standing at a side curled his lips, saying in a bad mood, then he's saying that all mage class equipment belongs to his friend. Lonely Snow advised, that person is a real expert. He's also a beta tester. He definitely has a deep understanding of the dungeon. He might even be able to guide us through it. Don't you all want to clear the Deathly Forest? So, what if he's a beta tester? He just had an extra month of experience in God's domain and a rough understanding of it. Besides, the data has long been changed after the game's official release. Even if he knew a lot about the Deathly Forest, how much use could there be? The shield warrior asked in disdain. He felt that those beta testers were only lucky. Their actual skills and strength might not even be comparable to them. We'll see how it goes after they arrive. If it's no good, then by that time there will be a lot more level 2 players. It won't be too late, even if we find someone else by then. The leading ranger said. After hearing this ranger speak, the others nodded their heads in agreement. At this moment, there was a flash of light in Dark Moon Valley. Shifeng had finally raised to level 3. Unfortunately, the leaderboard for levels had yet to be opened. Otherwise, he would definitely be ranked first on Red Leaf Town's leaderboard for levels. Finally level 3. Shifeng hurriedly added 4 attribute points towards agility, letting his agility reach 20 points. System. Player's agility has reached 20 points. Activating agility hidden basic skill Fast and Nimble. Fast and Nimble active. When activated, possess a body exceeding the normal man. Body's degree of freedom is completely released. Shifeng suddenly felt a gush of strength from his entire body. He also felt his body becoming unspeakably agile. His 5 senses also received a great improvement. These improvements allowed Shifeng to better exert his body's potential. Besides Shifeng reaching level 3, the last kobold that Blackie killed had unexpectedly dropped a level 1 bronze equipment, war boots. Shifeng couldn't help but admire Blackie's luck. Common monsters of level 1 to 3 would not drop any bronze equipment. The drop rate of bronze equipment from level 4 wild monsters was 1 out of 10,000. Yet Blackie had actually got it. His luck was just heaven-defying. Brother Feng, what are the attributes? Let me see as well. Blackie said so excitedly. The warboots attributes are quite good. Shifeng displayed the attributes. Recruits warboots bronze rank, plate armor. Level 1. Equipment requirement, strength 6. Defense plus 8. Strength plus 1, endurance plus 1. Movement speed +1. Durability 2020. This is too great. With this equipment, Brother Feng's speed would become even faster, Blackie happily said. Before, it was only him who obtained a bronze equipment. It had troubled him to no end. Now that Shi Feng had one as well, his heart became relieved as he said, Brother Feng, how many meteorite ore are we still missing? Not many. Just 4 more pieces. We'll be okay after another wave. Shi Feng looked into his bag. Unknowingly, there were already 96 pieces of meteorite ores in his bag. If someone else had come here to grind, they might have needed 5 to 6 hours to obtain this many. Luckily, there was Blackie. They had gathered most of it after just killing a few hundred kobolds. Just when Shi Feng was about to lure more monsters, his keen senses detected 3 blurry figures were closing in from behind Blackie. Blackie, dodge quickly, Shi Feng yelled as he pulled out his novice sword. With lightning speed, Shi Feng rushed over. Blackie remained ignorant of the situation. He was still stuck being happy, unaware of the things approaching him. Only finding out now. You're too late. He'll be the first one. 3 figures suddenly appeared. They were 3 assassin players, and one of them was Quiet Wolf, the person who was killed before. A mage being simultaneously ambushed by 3 assassins would die, without question. There would be no suspense to it, even if Blackie was 1 level higher than them. Chapter 14 Extraordinary Player's Physique. The simultaneous attacks from the 3 assassins caused a lot of damage to Blackie. Even though he wore several pieces of common cloth armor, he had still lost nearly half of his HP. System. Guild Shadow has attacked your party. All party members are allowed to attack members of Guild Shadow without penalty. Duration of 1 hour. I'll fight you guys. Blackie knew he was sure to die. His speed was not comparable with an assassin's. However, he also wanted to retaliate before he died. Blackie started chanting a curse, firing a dark arrow towards Quiet Wolf at 0 distance. Quiet Wolf smiled in disdain. Although the arrow was unavoidable, he still had 80 HP at level 0. How strong could a Cursemancer's attack be? Could it possibly instant kill him? Hong. The dark arrow hit Quiet Wolf. A damage of 76 points appeared above Quiet Wolf's head, instantly leaving him with only some leftover HP. Quiet Wolf immediately became dumbfounded after seeing such damage, his eyes nearly popping out of their sockets. The other 2 assassins were equally shocked. How is this even a Cursemancer? This was just a cannon. The person who dealt the damage was also shocked. Blackie had never imagined that the level 3 dark arrow would be so powerful. In reality, however, it wasn't just the level 3 dark arrows taking effect. There was also the high damage Blackwood staff, the aura effect of Might of 1000, and the bonus damage from level suppression. Such extreme damage was only possible with all these added together. Crap, let's kill him, brothers. His staff is definitely a mysterious iron equipment. As a veteran gamer, Quiet Wolf quickly reacted, revealing his greed towards Blackie's weapon. Blackie being able to deal such a high damage was definitely due to a mysterious iron weapon. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to nearly instant kill Quiet Wolf. Suddenly, the other 2 assassins became full of energy as they rushed towards Blackie. Not to mention a mysterious iron weapon, they didn't even have a common weapon. If they could get Blackie's mysterious iron weapon, then they would profit beautifully. The 3 assassins attacked again, leaving Blackie with only 6 HP remaining. When they saw that Blackie was about to die, the 3 assassins became even more excited. The mysterious iron weapon was about to come into their hands. At this moment, with unbelievable movement methods, Shi Feng appeared in front, blocking Blackie. 3 sword strikes blocked the attacks from the 3 assassins, creating 3 sparks. All 3 assassins were sent flying backward. Before the assassins could get over their shock, streaks of thunder appeared within their vision. 3 streaks of thunder struck the assassins that were still floating in midair. Damages of -32, -41, -50 appeared on all 3 of their heads, all of their HP dropping to 0. Their bodies turned into starlight and disappeared within an instant. Because assassins had low defense and were under level suppression, the effect of a level 2 thundering flash was extremely horrifying. Brother Feng. Blackie became dumbfounded as he looked at Shi Feng's back, dumbly saying, "Are you Brother Feng?" Everything had happened all too quickly. Shi Feng had suddenly appeared and swung his sword 3 times, blocking 3 attacks from different directions. Then, he had followed it up with a thundering flash. All of these actions had been carried out within an instant. It was so fast that the assassins could not even react. Shi Feng's actions and reactions were just inhuman. If Blackie wasn't familiar with the Shi Feng in front of him, he might have even thought it was someone else pretending to be Shi Feng. After sweeping his gaze around, Shi Feng discovered 8 players surrounding them. Leading these players was Flaming Tiger. Shi Feng no longer dared to stay behind, hurriedly saying, "Why are you still in a daze? Let's go." Shi Feng had activated Fast and Nimble, completely releasing his body's degree of freedom. However, even though he had a constitution that could keep up and react to his thoughts, his actual body's attributes were too low. He had a very hard time controlling his body, and it was also mentally taxing. Taking explosive maneuvers 2 to 3 times was still possible, but doing it long-term was definitely too much. The enemies also consisted of numerous healers and jobs that equipped plate armor. Shi Feng and Blackie's only choice, now, was to run away. Blackie continuously nodded his head. "Everyone go at them. You must definitely get me my bronze equipment and take over this mine." Flaming Tiger licked the corner of his lips. He was extremely excited. He did not mind the death of the 3 assassins at all. Originally, Flaming Tiger was still burning with rage. They had spent hours at Dark Moon Valley searching for Shifeng and his partner, causing their leveling speed to fall greatly. However, they had accidentally discovered Shifeng and Blackie grinding monsters. At first, Flaming Tiger had wanted to immediately surround and kill the two. However, when he saw Blackie utilizing the smoke cloud at the cave's entrance to kill the level 4 kobolds, Flaming Tiger nearly died from excitement. His hatred towards Shifeng had also reduced by a large half. He had even wanted to thank Shifeng for giving him such a valuable location. The difficulty of killing monsters of a higher level was famously known. If he could kill level 4 monsters without any harm, then his leveling speed would be absolutely horrifying. It won't be more than 10 hours before he would be leading the other players. After he had gained a huge advantage over others, the task of uniting Red Leaf Town would be at his fingertips. When that time came, he might even become Shadow Workshop's captain. Countless virtual game companies had closed shop because of God's Domain's opening. There were billions of players joining God's Domain. To obtain their share in this, many enterprises and financial groups started investing in God's Domain, one after the other. God's Domain could be said to be the most profitable virtual game in the world. Flaming Tiger thought about how he would be able to stand out in Red Leaf Town. He thought about forcefully taking the large guilds down a peg. He also thought about becoming Shadow's captain. When that time came, obtaining expensive cars, beautiful ladies, and luxury mansions were only a matter of time. When Flaming Tiger thought of these things, he became unspeakably excited. He had to appreciate Shifeng for giving all of these things to him. However, appreciation remained just appreciation. He still couldn't let the bronze equipment on Shifeng and Blackie go. Brother Tiger, those two are too fast. We can't catch up to them. A berserker said. They're lucky that they run fast. However, this precious piece of land is enough. Flaming Tiger's eyes shone when he looked at the mine. He had already fantasized himself leading Red Leaf Town with flair. Brother Tiger, what about Quiet Wolf and the other two? The 3 of them fell back to level 0. They also lost quite a lot of skill proficiency, an elementalist asked. Flaming Tiger rolled his eyes at his subordinate, asking, is this even a problem? You saw as well just now. The kobolds within the smoke cloud won't attack players if they're attacked from a distance. Those are level 4 monsters. Leveling will be easy, so hurry them over here. Brother Tiger is still the smart one. Being able to find such a precious spot, Brother Tiger will definitely become the number 1 person in Shadow. The elementalist started bootlicking Flaming Tiger. Scram. Number 1 person in Shadow. I am the number 1 person in God's Domain. Flaming Tiger angrily responded. The other members of Shadow also agreed, one after another, laughing at the elementalist for licking on the wrong boot. A moment later, 3 mage players started attacking from a distance. As for the other players, they lured the monsters into the smoke cloud. Under Flaming Tiger's command, they started killing the kobolds in an orderly manner. Great, this is just great. Even after sharing a Kobolds Express with so many people, my experience still increased by 2%. Brother Tiger, this is really fantastic. These monsters also drop ore and a lot of money. Not only that, but these kobolds also respawn quickly. We can grind here without limits until we reach level 6. By that time, we Shadow will definitely become Red Leaf Town's number 1 guild. The members of Shadow started laughing happily. It wouldn't take many hours before every one of them reached level 6. It was already great just imagining how they would suppress the other guilds in Red Leaf Town. Ha ha ha. Consider yourselves lucky for following me. The other team leaders are nothing. When the time comes, I'll become Shadow's captain. Flaming Tiger was in a great mood. With such an increase in experience, it wouldn't take an hour before he rose to level 2, compensating for his previous losses. Meanwhile, at the nearby location of Crimson Star Mine, Blackie was grinding his teeth in anger. Brother Feng, are we just going to let this go? That was hard to obtain information that came from a beta tester, but now it's just profiting these people. I get angry just from thinking about it. These people from Shadow are just shameless. Fortunately, I didn't join them. Shifeng shook his head as he looked at the system panel's clock, smiling indifferently. They dare to steal my things. We'll let them enjoy it for now. In a moment, we'll let them know after happiness comes sorrow. Chapter 15 After happiness, comes sorrow. Time passed, bit by bit. Shifeng and Blackie did not just do nothing. They were killing level 4 roaming gnomes in a place not far from Crimson Star Mine. Roaming gnome common. Level 4. HP 400. Compared to the kobolds, the roaming gnomes were much agiler. They were very good at dodging. However, their attack and defense weren't all that good. Moreover, Dark Moon Valley had yet to be developed. The monsters here were more numerous, and there was nobody here to compete with. There was no need to search for monsters to kill. Shifeng was already a level 3 swordsman, while Blackie was a level 2 cursemancer. After activating Fast and Nimble, the roaming gnome's dagger had no chance of even touching Shifeng. As for Blackie, his damage was even fiercer after drinking a black steel beer. With Shifeng entangling the gnomes in the front, and Blackie dealing damage from behind, killing off the roaming gnomes became very easy. The efficiency was even better than grinding off the kobolds. In the front of the Crimson Star Mine, groups of kobolds laid still before the mine's entrance. Copper coins and various kinds of ores were scattered all over the ground. Brother Tiger, this place is just too great. It's just been over half an hour, and everyone is already level 2. So much money dropped, as well. Ha ha ha, keep up the effort everyone. You three, lure more monsters. As long as we continue grinding this way, it will only be 3 to 4 hours before we can rise to level 3. Flaming Tiger excitedly commanded the 3 assassins that just recently arrived to lure the kobolds. The mages were already level 2, so the speed of killing the kobolds had increased by a big leap. Luring a group of over 30 kobolds was not enough for them. Brother Tiger, something dropped here. A berserker held onto a book as he shouted. Bring it here, let me have a look at it. Flaming Tiger said while smiling. He licked his dried lips when he saw something dropped. After Flaming Tiger received the book, he suddenly started laughing loudly. Great, really great. Not only has the spot that kid found after much effort been taken over by me, but if he knew a rare skill for swordsman was even in my hands. I really want to see that kid's look of regret. Brother Tiger, I saw that kid when I came here. They were still nearby killing roaming gnomes. I'm guessing that they're still unwilling to leave and still thinking of this place. Why don't we go over and kill them? Save us some trouble. A cold glint flashed through Quiet Wolf's eyes. They were filled with killing intent. He was overcome by a great resentment after being killed twice by Qi Feng. Flaming Tiger waved his hand, with a disdainful smile on his face as he said, then let them look. Watch at how fast we level up and earn money, and at how we become the tyrants of Red Leaf Town. Meanwhile, they can only watch from a side with their hearts full of regret and unwillingness. Ha ha ha, I feel great just thinking about it. Although Quiet Wolf still held some resentment over it, when he imagined Qi Feng's unwilling appearance and how he could only exhaust himself killing roaming gnomes, Quiet Wolf's heart felt a great gust of pleasure. Just you wait. The moment I reach level 6 will be your death. Quiet Wolf did not actually give up on killing Qi Feng. Instead, when he thought about the pleasure he would feel after killing Qi Feng when he was level 6, he couldn't help but look forward to it. Meanwhile, in the forest 60 yards south of the Crimson Star Mine, Qi Feng was using a tree to hide while he observed Flaming Tiger and the others. Brother Feng, can the two of us handle it? Blackie asked in a worried tone. These 11 people were not just any average players. They were experts that had passed Shadow Workshop's examination. Moreover, there were 2 healers on their side. It was impossible to kill all of these people just by depending on the 2 of them. Relax. The time is almost up. We'll just watch the show. Qi Feng looked at the time, indifferently saying, in a moment, you go stand at the back. Kill whoever has low HP, don't let even one of them get away. Time is almost up. Blackie didn't understand what it meant. Qi Feng pointed towards the smoke cloud in front of the Crimson Star Mine's entrance, saying with a smile, that Flaming Tiger must think that killing monsters of a higher level is easy. The smoke bomb that we placed before we left has a time limit, and only 2 minutes are left before the hour is up. Did they think they could continuously enjoy my domain after stealing it from me? Now, I'll teach them how to be proper human beings. Blackie was struck with a realization. His worship towards Qi Feng became even greater now. Brother Feng is still the smartest. Those brats from Shadow are definitely goners this time. Blackie said with a grin. The reason they could cross levels and harmlessly kill kobolds was that of the smoke bombs. They definitely couldn't do without them. If there were no smoke bomb, then the consequences would be horrifying. 2 minutes later, the smoke cloud in front of the Crimson Star Mine slowly dispersed. Brother Tiger, why is that smoke cloud disappearing? An elementalist asked Flaming Tiger after noticing the disappearing smoke cloud. The smoke cloud disappeared. It can't be. Flaming Tiger abruptly woke up from his nap. When he looked over at the mine's entrance, the smoke cloud really did disappear. If it's gone, then fine. The smoke cloud might be a periodic thing. Don't bother with it, keep on grinding. Just as Flaming Tiger finished speaking, the usually stupid-looking kobolds that did not retaliate suddenly looked towards the members of Shadow Workshop in unison. There were over 40 kobolds with blood-red eyes. The kobolds let out angry growls after finally discovering the people who had been attacking them. Suddenly, they all came rushing forth. The members of Shadow did not react at all. Within an instant, they were surrounded and given a beating by the kobolds. A level 2 player could hardly take 3 hits from a kobold, not to mention a group of kobolds. 7 players died within a blink of an eye. The backline players became a mess as they ran for their lives. However, the kobolds were very fast. It only took them moments to catch up to the escaping mages. For each mage, they were gifted a hammer to their heads. The mages quickly lie still on the floor, never to rise up again. Crap, what is going on here? Why did these kobolds suddenly become insane? Flaming Tiger cursed. He quickly turned tail and ran the moment he noticed the situation turned bad. They had risen to level 2 after much effort. However, this death sent them all back to level 1. There were even 3 assassins who were level 0. It was an absolute loss. With such an increase and decrease, the dream becoming the tyrants of Red Leaf Town also perished. Instead, the current members of Shadow weren't even up to par with the average player. They were even further away from the other guilds. Flaming Tiger's heart started to bleed in pain. We meet again, Brother Tycoon, Qi Feng said with an indifferent smile. He currently blocked Flaming Tiger's escape path. After seeing Qi Feng sneer, even an idiot would understand that the kobold's rebellion had something to do with him. You're dead for sure, kid. You dare to actually scheme against me. If I don't kill you back to level 0, then my name will be read backward. All of Flaming Tiger's hair stood up in anger. He raised his shield and swung it at Qi Feng. Compared to the other members of Shadow Workshop, Flaming Tiger's skills were clearly a tier higher. With one hand, he used his shield to block Shi Feng's vision, while he used the other to stab his short sword towards Shi Feng's vital point. It was simple, yet sinister, and it was very hard to stop. However, Flaming Tiger's confident strike struck air. Where is he? Flaming Tiger fixed his gaze to the front. However, there wasn't even a shadow of a person present. Over here. Shi Feng stood behind Flaming Tiger, his sword waving down. Chop. A damage of -36 appeared above Flaming Tiger's head. His HP had instantly gone from 220 to 184. When Flaming Tiger was hit, he hurriedly spun around and used Shield Bash. However, Shi Feng had long since seen through Flaming Tiger's movements. He took a step backward and spun his body around, hiding by the shield. Then, Shi Feng arrived once more at Flaming Tiger's back, giving him another sword slash. Without the use of any skills, Shi Feng could only deal 23 damage to a shield warrior with high defense. You coward. Don't hide if you have the ability. I can kill you anytime I want. Flaming Tiger could not land any hits on the agile Shi Feng. His HP was constantly decreasing, and only 83 points of it remained now. He had no way of dealing with Shi Feng's attacks, so he decided to start ridiculing Shi Feng in hopes of provoking him, allowing Flaming Tiger the chance to kill Shi Feng. Sure, I'll stand here without dodging. Come attack me then, Shi Feng answered without hesitation. Flaming Tiger silently smiled. He never imagined that Shi Feng was such a fool, taking the bait with just a small amount of stimulation. Watch how I'll toy with you to death. Flaming Tiger raised his shield and used charge at Shi Feng. If Shi Feng didn't dodge, then he could only take the hit forcefully. In terms of strength, Flaming Tiger wouldn't lose to Shi Feng. However, only disappointment was waiting for him. Just when Flaming Tiger was 2 yards away from Shi Feng immediately used Thundering Flash. 3 streaks of thunder went past Flaming Tiger's shield, directly landing on his body. 3 high damages appeared above Flaming Tiger's head, -28, -35, -41, his HP instantly dropping to 0. You. Despicable. Flaming Tiger glared at Shi Feng. He was furious to the point of spitting out blood. If it weren't for himself rushing towards Shi Feng on his own accord, he wouldn't have been struck by all the attacks of that skill. Are you alright, Brother Tycoon? I said I would stand here without dodging, but I've never said I wouldn't move my hands. How could you be so gullible, even rushing over, yourself? Shi Feng spread out his arms, showing that it was all a mistake, saying, oh, right. I still have to thank Brother Tycoon for earning me so many ores. You've saved me a lot of time. Flaming Tiger pointed towards Shi Feng, wanting to say something. However, his body had already turned into starlight and disappeared. He couldn't even utter a single word, only leaving behind a pile of ore and a single book. Chapter 16 Everyone's a liar. In Red Leaf Town's noisy plaza, flashes of white light appeared. Following which, figures of players appeared, one by one. These players were the revived members of Shadow. These people had down and extremely depressed expressions on their faces. Nothing could beat the pain and entangled feeling of having recently gained something, then losing it again. Just a moment ago, they were still dreaming of becoming the tyrants of Red Leaf Town. Their levels were increasing, it was like flying. In the next second, however, they died. Not only had their levels and skill proficiency decreased, but the experience they had at level 1 was also lower than before. They were much worse off compared to the average player. Flaming Tiger's expression after reviving was even more livid. His eyes alone could eat a person alive. System. Player Yi Feng has killed you. You will be revived in Red Leaf Town after 3 seconds. At the same time, you will lose 1 level, and all your skill proficiencies will be reduced by 100 points. Yi Feng, I will not let you off. I will definitely make you wish for death. Flaming Tiger let out an angry bellow after looking at the numbers displayed by the system. His actions had caused the other players to quickly avoid him, not daring to look at this madman. After venting for a while, Flaming Tiger ordered the other members of Shadow to check their bags, checking for the items they dropped. Although this death caused great losses for everyone, there wasn't just the express gain from killing kobolds. There was also loot. This was also the only thing they could be happy about. At the very least, they did not busy themselves for nothing. When Flaming Tiger took a look into his bag, a sweet taste suddenly entered his throat. He spat out a mouthful of blood. At once. Immediately. We head for Dark Moon Valley, now. I must kill that kid. Flaming Tigers bellowed, his anger reaching up to the skies. The skill book that he planned on using to ridicule Shi Feng was gone. It was an extremely rare skill for swordsmen, and it was also the most valuable item they got from grinding kobolds. Now, it was gone. However, the most unforgivable thing was that the skill book had fallen into Shi Feng's hands. In the end, all of Flaming Tiger's efforts had become Shi Feng's gains. This was something that he would not tolerate. His hatred was something that could not be resolved, even if he were to kill Shi Feng back to level 0. The other members of Shadow did not understand what had happened to Flaming Tiger. Going to search for Shi Feng right now was just a futile effort. Nobody would be foolish enough to wait for them to take revenge. Shi Feng would definitely slip away, snickering at them in some other place. At this moment, Flaming Tiger's system communication rang. Who is it? Disturbing me at this time, are you trying to die? Flaming Tiger cursed after the call connected. Flaming Tiger, your temperature has grown after not meeting for a day. The voice on the other side was ice cold, as if in a furious rage. Flaming Tiger felt the familiarity of that voice. When he found the corresponding identity to the voice, his face suddenly turned extremely ugly. Brother Zhang, it is you. I'm currently educating my subordinates. I never thought Brother Zhang would contact me. Brother Zhang, please don't mind it. I wasn't speaking about you just now. Enough. I already know about your problem. Just looking at the damage you've caused towards Shadow's development in Red Leaf Town, looking at what the good you've done has accomplished towards Shadow's development in Red Leaf Town, I'll come to you immediately. From now onwards, you don't have to continue being Red Leaf Town's team leader. Silent Rain, the team's elementalist will take over temporarily. If you're still not level 2 by the time I arrive in Red Leaf Town, then you can just get lost. Shadow doesn't need garbage. Flaming Tiger became spiritless after hearing these words. His hatred for Shi Feng would never be washed away, even by the 5 lakes and 4 seas. Meanwhile, in Dark Moon Valley, Shi Feng and Blackie were picking up the drops from the members of Shadow. Shi Feng was currently holding the skill book dropped by Flaming Tiger. Flaming Tiger really is too generous. He had even left me such an item. Shi Feng chose to learn the skill without hesitation. Wind Blade Action Type. Requires. Sword. Level 1. Proficiency 0/300. Ambush an enemy outside 5 yards and within 30 yards. Movement speed will be increased by 40% when rushing towards the target and attack speed increased by 20% for 3 seconds. Cooldown. 25 seconds. A swordsman mobility would be greatly increased with this skill. It was a great counter to rangers and mages who love to kite. Brother Feng, the meteorite ore we need are all here. There are also quite a few bronze ore. Shadow really helped us big this time. Blackie laughed loudly. As he was collecting the ore from the ground, he noticed a piece of dark green ore. Picking it up, he asked, Brother Feng, what is this star crystal? When Shi Feng heard about the star crystal, he ignored the meteorite ore below his feet, instantly turning around and running towards Blackie. Damn, it really is a star crystal. Blackie, your luck is really too good. You even picked up such a thing. Shi Feng said excitedly as he carefully looked at the dark green ore after receiving it. Every monster in the world had a chance of dropping a star crystal. The chances were 1,000,000 to 1. Maybe it was trash to other people, but to Shi Feng, it was a priceless treasure. It was also the thing he needed the most. Brother Feng, what is this star crystal for? Blackie curiously asked. Shi Feng was usually calm and indifferent. Such an excited reaction from him displayed the preciousness of the star crystal. It's for eating, but not for players. Shi Feng smiled slightly but did not continue explaining as he kept the star crystal. It's for eating. Blackie was slightly confused. Who would eat a rock? However, Shi Feng must have his own reasons for not explaining, so Blackie did not continue asking about it. A moment later, all the drops were collected. They had received a total of 14 pieces of meteorite ore, and 32 pieces of bronze ore. Not only had they completed Shi Feng's quest, they even had some leftovers. Subsequently, the two of them arrived at the smithy. Master Jack, I have collected the meteorite ore you asked for. Shi Feng handed over all of the meteorite ore, not leaving even one behind. These were all quest items. A stack of them would only sell for 1 copper to an NPC. It was utterly worthless. Not bad, young man. However, if you wish to become an outstanding forger, you still need to have enough strength to obtain precious ore. There is a powerful kobold chieftain. Go kill it to prove your strength. Master Jack said eloquently as he stored away the meteorite ore. System. Hidden quest. Road of Forging. Kill the kobold chieftain inside Crimson Star Mine. Time limit of 1 hour. When Shi Feng saw that there was still a second stage to the quest, Shi Feng wished he could curse hammer trading. He had caused Shi Feng big trouble this time. As expected, everybody would have kept something to themselves. Nobody could be trusted. Everyone's a liar. In Shi Feng's previous life, hammer trading had not mentioned a second stage of the quest. Now a second stage, time-limited quest had appeared. It was even against a chieftain monster. That wasn't an elite monster you simply run across. A chieftain was even stronger than a special elite. It was the equivalent of a dungeon's boss. Shi Feng was just level 3, and a leader monster was just too deadly to him. In Shi Feng's previous life, hammer trading was level 16 when he accepted the quest. Completing the quest was extremely easy. Forget it, let's have a look at it first. He could do nothing about being tricked. However, Shi Feng did not plan to give up. The forging talent had too great of a use, and Shi Feng must learn it. Following which, Shi Feng and Blackie cleared the way of kobolds as they headed towards the deeper parts of the Crimson Star Mine. Compared to the kobolds at the entrance, the kobolds inside were no longer level 4, they were level 5. They took more time and energy to kill. Often, another kobold would respawn before one was killed. If there weren't enough black steel beer to reduce the kobold's level by 2, then Shi Feng and Blackie's killing speed would be completely unable to keep up with the respawn rate. Half an hour later, Shi Feng and Blackie arrived at the deepest part of the Crimson Star Mine. It was a large piece of empty land. There were over 10 kobolds mining for ore in the surroundings. There was a huge figure standing in the center of the empty area. It was a kobold that wore armor, and it was constantly giving out commands to the other kobolds. Kobold Chieftain, Chieftain rank. Level 5. HP 2100. Just its HP alone could cause a person to despair, not to mention the heavy armor worn on the Kobold Chieftain. Its defense was definitely high. It was nearly impossible for physical type attacks to cause a lot of damage. Moreover, chieftain rank monsters had a recovery speed of 2% HP every 5 seconds when in battle. That meant the kobold chieftain would recover 42 HP every 5 seconds. It was not a number to look down upon. An average level 5 player with physical type damage might not even be able to deal 42 damage within 5 seconds. As for using the smoke bombs to kill the kobold chieftain safely, that was completely impossible. A chieftain monster's range of vision was extremely wide. Even a kobold would have a vision range of 55 yards. Using the smoke bomb to reduce its vision by 10 yards would still leave it with 45 yards. Even for rangers, who had the furthest firing range of 40 yards, it was not enough. Qi Feng thought through it again and again as he looked at the kobold chieftain before him, helplessly laughing, do I really have to use that? Chapter 17 Magic Weapon Released, Famed Swordsman Born. Brother Feng, can we really beat this kobold chieftain? Blackie had not an ounce of confidence in him when he looked at the kobold chieftain. Ignoring its horrifying amount of HP, the giant axe on its back was enough to terrify someone. If Blackie were hit with that axe, he would definitely turn into meat paste within an instant. I don't know. Qi Feng shook his head. Plans can never keep up with change. There was not a single terrain within the mine that could be used. They could only fight the kobold chieftain head on if they wanted to kill it. The kobold chieftain was the most powerful monster Qi Feng had met up with to this point. If he had enough time, Qi Feng would come here when he was level 5, with a full body of bronze equipment. He would have an 80% chance by then. However, there was little left of the time that Forging Master Jack gave him. If he wanted to finish the battle within the 20 minutes remaining, then he would need to send out a small party of level 5 elites to do so. However, there were only 2 of them. Their equipment was also poor. Trying to kill the kobold chieftain within 20 minutes was utterly impossible. However, there would be dire consequences if the quest was not finished. There was only one chance to do this hidden quest. If it failed, Qi Feng would not be able to receive it ever again. Thus, Qi Feng was even more unwilling to give up this quest. I can only try it. Qi Feng unwillingly took out the magic weapon, Abyssal Blade. In his previous life, the number of magic weapons Qi Feng had personally witnessed could be counted on his fingers. Anybody who had seen a magic weapon's power would be brought to submission by it. Whereas, those who could properly wield a magic weapon was as rare as a phoenix's feather. Crimson War God was one such person. He had grown to fame within a guild war that had involved over 100,000 people. During that war, Crimson War God held a bloodied magic weapon, the Crimson Ghost Axe. He rushed into groups of thousands of warriors with the axe and slaughtered. There was no one who could block his giant axe. In the end, the enemy guild was forced to retreat in embarrassment. Crimson War God had created the scene of one man defending against 10,000. After that war, he built up the glorious War God Empire. There was also the madman, Windchaser. He held the magic weapon, Evil Spirit's Roar. With only the bow in hand, Windchaser had single-handedly defended a city. Of the thousands of enemy players, not one of them could enter within 100 yards of the city. Using a single arrow, Windchaser had even sniped Outstandingly Extraordinary, the guild leader of Imposing Expert. Outstandingly Extraordinary had been standing further than 100 yards from the city at that time. As long as they were a magic weapon user, then they would be famous, top-tier experts in God's domain that were respected by all. System, do you wish to bind the Abyssal Blade? Qi Feng sucked in a deep breath, choosing to bind. He did not care anymore about the backlash of the magic weapon. Since those people could control the magic weapons, then how could he, as a reincarnated person, lose to those newbies that had yet to grow up? The moment the binding was finished, Qi Feng could clearly feel his entire body's strength being sapped away. His levels, as well, dropped one after the other, becoming level 0 within an instant. In another moment, however, a force of strength started flowing through his body. His body's current constitution was even stronger than when he was level 3. When he checked the Abyssal Blade attributes, Qi Feng became even more shocked. Abyssal Blade magic weapon, one-handed sword. Attack power 24. All attributes plus 10. Attack speed plus 3. Ignore monsters level by 5. Attacks have a 15% chance to cause 2x damage, 10% chance to induce Doom Curse, reducing all stats by 30%, lasting 20 seconds. If wielder belongs to any swordsman job, all skill levels plus 2. Increase free ability points received by 2 points for every increase in level. Equipment level 0. Can be leveled up. Devour 10 level 5 bronze equipment and 1 level 5 mysterious iron equipment to level up to level 5. Can be evolved, unknown. Additional skill 1, Phantom Kill. Instantly creates a doppelganger. You can control this doppelganger. Doppelganger will have 50% of original body's attributes and all skills. At the same time, doppelganger and the original body can be swapped. Duration of 30 seconds. Cooldown, 5 minutes. Additional skill 2, Abyssal Bind. Binds enemies and prevents movement, reducing defense by 100%. Duration of 3 seconds. Cooldown, 1 minute. Additional skill 3, 9 Dragon Slash. Instantly create 9 phantoms of the Abyssal Blade for the wielder to use. Each phantom sword is capable of dealing up to 30% damage. Duration of 20 seconds. Cooldown, 5 minutes. The Abyssal Blade was personally created by Mastersmith Ulysses, using the Black Dragon King's fangs as material. It is one of 36 famed swords, and it is ranked 31st. However, this sword has been cursed by the Black Dragon King. Aside from being able to provide the wielder with immense strength, there would be a backlash after a certain period of time. If the wielder is unable to suppress the backlash, the wielder will receive the curse of the Black Dragon King, permanently reducing all attributes by 50%. Unable to be dropped. Unable to be traded. Seeing such attributes and these many additional skills, the Abyssal Blade was no different than a god's weapon. However, there were still 35 of these famed swords, and the Abyssal Blade was just one of the lower ranked ones. It was hard to imagine what kind of sword the first ranked was. Brother Feng, please don't scare me. How did you become level 0? Glancing at Shi Feng from the side, Blackie became shocked. It had already been troublesome just facing the kobold chieftain. Now that Shi Feng had fallen back to level 0, how could they fight it? Relax. Use the smoke bombs to clear off the small mobs first. Leave the kobold chieftain to me. Shi Feng called up the attribute panel, placing all 6 free attribute points into agility. His agility had reached 20 points exactly, activating fast and nimble. Shi Feng was very eager to test his sword on the kobold chieftain. Character: Yi Feng, human. Affiliated Kingdom, Star Moon. Title: Might of 8000. Job: Swordsman. Level: 0. HP: 460/460ths. Attack power: 72. Defense: 4. Attack speed: 10. Movement speed: 8. Attributes: Strength 24, Agility 20, Endurance 22, Intelligence 13, Vitality 13. System: Strength has reached 20 points. Activating hidden basic skill, Smashing Fists. Able to destroy trash weapons with bare hands. System: Endurance has reached 20 points. Activating hidden basic skill, Robust Physique. Along with the activation of the hidden basic skills for strength and endurance, Shi Feng could now utilize the full potential of his current body. He was no longer a 3-second hero. Although he was level 0, his current attack power and attributes were far above that of when he was level 3. His HP was even more awesome. It wasn't any worse than a level 5 shield warrior's HP. Not to mention Shi Feng still had a bunch of high-level skills. He could definitely fight it out with the kobold chieftain. While Shi Feng was getting used to his body, Blackie had cleared all of the kobolds in the surrounding areas, leaving behind only the kobold chieftain. Wait for me to pull aggro, then you can start madly attacking. Shi Feng instructed. Taking a step forward, Shi Feng rushed towards the kobold chieftain. Wind Blade. In the blink of an eye, Shi Feng had arrived in front of the kobold chieftain. The kobold chieftain had yet to react before 2 streaks of black light slashed at its neck. Suddenly, blood splashed from its neck, causing the kobold chieftain to scream in pain. 2 frightening damages appeared above its head. -63, -128. The kobold chieftain finally reacted. However, just as it lifted its giant axe, another sword flash passed through an unprotected area of its body. Chop. Another -105 damage appeared on the kobold chieftain. The power of a level 4 chop was shocking. When the giant axe landed on the ground, it created a large crater. However, Shi Feng had long since retreated and followed up by using a level 4 thundering flash. 3 streaks of violent thunder passed through the kobold chieftain's gigantic body, creating damages of -84, -101, -123. Shi Feng had taken over 600 HP away from the kobold chieftain after just a single exchange. The might of the famed sword, the Abyssal Blade, even shocked Shi Feng himself. Blackie, who stood a distance away, was even more dumbfounded. Chapter 18 9 Dragon's Slash. The kobold chieftain became enraged when he was dealt a heavy damage by Shi Feng's surprise attack. The blood that leaked from its wound became its stimulant. The kobold chieftain raised its giant axe, bombarding Shi Feng with one attack after another. The kobold chieftain could not react appropriately towards Shi Feng's previous surprise attack. It could only instinctively attack, so its attacks were aggressive. Against the wild attacks of the kobold chieftain, even a level 5 shield warrior or guardian knight would die within an instant. Shi Feng could only retreat under such intense attacks. He did not have any chance to retaliate. He also needed to dodge the incoming rubble the size of fists. If they hit him, it would cause quite an amount of damage. A man and a beast exchanged moves at high speeds. If it were an average man, he most likely would not be able to make a single move. He would be halved by the giant axe, becoming very much dead. Blackie, hurry and attack it. I can't hold on for much longer. Shi Feng had been dodging for a whole 7 or 8 seconds now. When he saw Blackie, having yet to attack, he shouted loudly. They were currently facing a chieftain boss, not a little elite. The attack patterns of a chieftain boss were not as monotonous as an elite's, it had a variety of attacks. The chieftain boss was a monster that possessed intelligence. It would even change its attack pattern for specific players. Couple that with a strength that was 2 to 3 times that of a normal elite, the chieftain boss was stronger than an elite by at least 4 times. Although Shi Feng had only exchanged blows with the kobold chieftain for 7 or 8 seconds, it felt like several minutes had gone by. Just from blocking attacks and the occasional counter-attack had already taken over 100 HP from Shi Feng. If this situation continued, it wouldn't be long before his HP reached 0. With the famed sword, Abyssal Blade, Shi Feng's attributes were greatly increased. It allowed 3 hidden basic skills that were most important to a melee player to be activated. With these skills, Shi Feng was able to exhibit extraordinary attacks and dodges continuously. If he did not possess the abyssal blade, Shi Feng would have died long ago. Ah, I'll come help you, Brother Feng. Blackie realized his mistake as he finally reacted. He hurriedly waved his staff, his mouth chanting a curse. After aiming at the kobold chieftain, he shot a dark arrow. The dark arrow landed on the kobold chieftain's body, only dealing 17 points of damage. Blackie's mouth became wide open after seeing this damage. He couldn't help becoming astonished by a chieftain monster's defense. Blackie could cause over 50 damage if he attacked a level 5 monster, however, it was only a third of that amount now. It could be seen how shocking a chieftain monster's defense was. On the other hand, Shi Feng could deal over 100 damage in a hit. What kind of attack power was that? Shi Feng abruptly slashed the abyssal blade in mid-battle. Chop! A black light dug itself through a gap in the kobold chieftain's attack. Hung! Shi Feng took 3 steps backward before stabilizing his body, over 30 damage appearing above his head. On the other hand, only the kobold chieftain's giant axe was pushed back, pausing slightly in midair. It worked. It seems like my strength is just barely enough. Shi Feng was very satisfied with the attack this time. During battles within God's domain, not only could players defend and dodge, but they could also interrupt a monster's attack. This would cause the monster's attack to stop briefly, ending the monster's offensive. It was a high-leveled battle technique. Such techniques only started becoming popular half a year after God's domain's opening, especially in boss battles. If the MT main tank did not learn such techniques, the end result would be a party wipe. This was because there were no players capable of blocking a boss's crazed and continuous attacks. The kobold chieftain's momentary pause had caused it to reveal a weak point. Shi Feng rushed in without hesitation. Gathering all his strength into his hand, Shi Feng gripped the abyssal blade tightly and continuously struck the kobold chieftain. 4 streaks of sword light hit the unarmored parts of the kobold chieftain. With the damage amplification effect, Shi Feng's attack instantly took to 300 HP away from the kobold chieftain. Adding in Blackie's attack, the kobold chieftain only had little over 900 HP remaining. Ow! 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 The kobold chieftain started going into a frenzy. It threw its giant axe to a side, pulling out 2 machetes from its waist. The change in weapons caused the kobold chieftain's attack patterns to change. If the kobold chieftain was a berserker when he held the giant axe, then after wielding the pair of blades, the kobold chieftain was a dual-wielding swordsman. The kobold chieftain now combined strength with agility, no longer just using violence to oppress its opponent. The attack pattern of the pair of blades was no longer monotonous. The kobold chieftain's attack speed had a large increase as well. Just after Shi Feng dodged one of the blades, the other came following behind. Shi Feng hurriedly used the abyssal blade to block it. Dazzling sparks were created when the blade and sword intersected with each other. Shi Feng's entire person was sent flying away. When Shi Feng was still in midair, he saw the kobold chieftain leaping with all its might, its machete raised high for a frontal assault. Is it going all out? Shi Feng was shocked, hurriedly using parry. Hong! The abyssal blade blocked the machete. However, Shi Feng was like a meteorite as he fell heavily to the ground. Shi Feng had thought the kobold chieftain's attack to be over. However, as it fell from the sky, its twin blades plunged downwards as well, with Shi Feng's chest as their target. Shi Feng was unable to move to dodge the attack. Phantom kill. Instantly, a doppelganger of Shi Feng appeared 3 yards away from him. With lightning speed, Shi Feng swapped places with his doppelganger. When the kobold chieftain landed, both its blades stabbed into the doppelganger's chest. The doppelganger's HP madly fell, over 300 HP disappearing within an instant. Just as the kobold chieftain revealed an excited smile, Shi Feng appeared behind its back. The abyssal blade in his hand was also letting out a faint black glow. 9 dragons slash. 9 phantoms of the abyssal blade appeared, silently floating in midair and circling Shi Feng. Although Shi Feng could not completely control all 9 swords, using the 9 of them for a simple attack was not a problem. Shashasha. 9 abyssal blades danced as if they were playful sprites, continuously penetrating the kobold chieftain's body. Small values that were just over -10 continuously appeared on the kobold chieftain's head. Although the damage was very low, the quantity was high. Including Shi Feng's chop and normal attacks, the kobold chieftain's HP fell close to 500 HP. Seeing the kobold chieftain wanting to turn around, Shi Feng did not dare give it any chance for a counterattack. Immediately, Shi Feng used Abyssal Bind. The kobold chieftain could not move for 3 seconds, and its defense was reduced by 100%. In a battle, where even blinking would get you killed, 3 seconds was enough to change the results. The kobold chieftain could not move after being bound by the pitch-black chains which came from the abyssal blade. The 9 abyssal blades continued attacking without stop, creating damages of over -20 with each hit. The kobold chieftain's HP madly fell, leaving it with only around 200 HP within a moment. Awoo! The kobold chieftain bellowed as it became thoroughly berserk, its body size becoming 2 folds larger. Shi Feng watched as the 3 seconds passed by. The kobold chieftain's strength was no joke after becoming completely berserk. Its strength had increased by at least 30%. However, all of Shi Feng's attacks and life-saving skills were still on cooldown. As if having seen through Shi Feng's distress, the kobold chieftain's face revealed a mocking expression. 2 large blades came crashing towards Shi Feng, their speeds like that of flying arrows. At the moment of life and death, Shi Feng noticed a kobold miner respawning from the corner of his eyes. Immediately, Shifeng activated gravity liberation, followed by wind blade. With lightning speed, Shifeng dodged the chop from the twin blades and rushed towards the kobold miner's front. Ow! 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 When the kobold chieftain saw the near-death Shifeng actually dodging its attack, its strong legs abruptly stomped on the ground, pushing it straight towards Shifeng. Blackie felt chills down his back as he watched Shifeng fighting. Regardless, his mouth never stopped chanting curses, sending out one dark arrow after another. However, the kobold chieftain's speed was too fast, trying to hit it was just too hard. Fortunately, there was more than a 20-yard distance between the kobold chieftain and Shifeng. The kobold chieftain would still need some time to catch up to Shifeng. Within this period, Shifeng might even be able to kill off the kobold chieftain with the 9 phantoms of the abyssal blade. However, both Shifeng and Blackie had underestimated the kobold chieftain's explosive strength. Not only were its strength and defense greatly increased, even its agility had a great increase. It only took 2 seconds for the kobold chieftain to reach over 20 yards. The kobold chieftain lifted its twin blades, strongly slashing it down. The kobold miner in front of Shifeng was split into 2, and a rain of blood fell 5 yards around it. This slash had closely brushed past Shifeng's cheek, nearly taking his life away. Seeing the kobold chieftain preparing to slash down its other blade, Shifeng strongly raised the abyssal blade in his hand. 3 streaks of thunder penetrated the kobold chieftain's body, taking away its last remaining 130 HP. Seeing the kobold chieftain finally fall, Shifeng let loose a breath of relief. The chieftain monster is truly too strong. Even if Shifeng came here at level 5 fully equipped with bronze equipment, he would still be a goner. He could only kill it due to luck. Compared to a level 2 Thundering Flash, the level 4 Thundering Flash only had a cooldown of 24 seconds. The cooldown had finished just in time, allowing Shifeng to escape death. System. Level 5 Kobold Chieftain killed. Level difference of 5. Express obtained increased by 500%. Obtained 2350 Express. Shifeng immediately rose to 76% of level 1. System. Congratulations for becoming the first player to kill a chieftain monster. Kobold Chieftain's item drop increased by 200%. Reputation in Star Moon Kingdom increased by 10 points. Suddenly, the kobold chieftain's body started expanding. Its size continued increasing until its body exploded with a boom, scattering a pile of items all over the floor. Chapter 19 Evil Whip. When the kobold chieftain exploded, items scattered all over the floor. Copper coins paved the floor as well in a copper glow, shining through the entire mine as if celebrating Shifeng's success. At the moment, Blackie sat paralyzed on the ground, cold sweat pervading his entire body. It was as if all of his strength was sapped out from his body, he could not care less about the drops on the ground. This battle was truly difficult. There was no time to even take a breath, every minute and every second were a soul-shocking moment that stimulated the eyes. Every moment of the battle just toyed with Blackie's heart. He would not be able to take it at all if he did not have a strong heart. As for Shifeng, who could battle against the kobold chieftain head-on, what kind of heart did he possess? This is too great. We won, Brother Feng. You really are my idol. Blackie loudly shouted in extreme excitement. Seeing Shifeng's calm face, Blackie was filled with respect for him. Although Shifeng's former strength was quite good, surpassing many average players, he was still just an average professional player. Shifeng's skill had never been out of reach for Blackie. Shifeng had been previously quick to get excited. He would even get into an endless conflict over a piece of common equipment as if he was an unsheathed blade. However, the current Shifeng was hugely different than before, it was as if he became a different person. The present Shifeng was extremely calm and did things without hesitation. He gave off a certain serenity that resembled that of a dormant dragon. He did not do anything outstanding normally, yet when he did, it would shock the world. Blackie, wasn't your idol Gentle Snow? Shifeng slightly smiled as he said so. Of course Gentle Snow is my idol. However, you're awesome as well, Brother Feng. Usually, you keep quiet without revealing anything, but now that you've shown it, even such a powerful kobold chieftain was done in by you. Not even a true professional gamer could compare to you, so how could I not admire you? As they said, the shade is better under a large tree. Brother Feng, you should teach me how to play a cursemancer. Even in my dreams, I've dreamt of becoming a professional gamer. In Blackie's eyes, Shifeng was just like a mountain of gold. He was glad for the choice he had previously made. If he had gone to Shadow Workshop, he would probably still be a nameless gold farming member. He wouldn't even have the chance to meet an expert, forget about becoming a real expert. Alright, Shifeng smiled. Blackie's character was just so straightforward. When Shifeng was fired in his previous life, Blackie had resigned as well, without hesitation. Blackie had given up a job with an annual income of millions just to share the suffering together with him. Naturally, Shifeng wouldn't betray Blackie, he would teach Blackie whatever he could. Although Shifeng had not played a cursemancer before, he had still observed plenty of expert cursemancers. Shifeng knew the general direction to develop a cursemancer, and it was more than enough to give pointers to Blackie. Brother Feng, how do you think I should place my points early on? Do I go full intelligence? Blackie asked. Shifeng shook his head, saying after some thought, although it isn't bad to go full intelligence during the beginning periods, agility is a must if you wish to become a powerful cursemancer. Aside from just increasing your movement speed, agility can also increase your casting speed. Cursemancers have very few life-saving skills, are slow runners, and have many skills that require chanting. A cursemancer's spells are also weak in power. They mainly rely on curses to deal damage. However, unlike elementalists, who are literal cannons, time is required for a cursemancer to unleash that damage fully. Hence, after adding intelligence up to 20 points, you should place half of your free ability points into agility. This will ensure your safety as well as allow you deal more damage. In Qi Feng's previous life, there was an extremely powerful cursemancer. That person had broken the traditional point allocation method of a cursemancer by adding a large amount of agility. Not only could he deal damage both quickly and fiercely, but he was even more powerful in PK. He had destroyed assassins that were counters to mages. Even in death, those assassins had not landed a single hit on that cursemancer, breaking the law that stated mages would die if they were closed in by a melee player. After that incident, many cursemancers had started adding agility, causing assassins to be endlessly depressed as they became bullied constantly by cursemancers. Blackie nodded his head. He felt that Qi Feng's words made sense, saying with a smile, "All right then. After my intelligence reaches 20 points, I'll go full agility." After finished discussing how to add points for a cursemancer, Qi Feng and Blackie started picking up the drops. The kobold chieftain deserved to be a chieftain-ranked monster. Adding on that it was the first kill, its drops were extremely bountiful. It had dropped a total of 8 pieces of bronze equipment, 1 gray giant axe, 2 plate armor, 2 leather armor, 3 cloth armor. Aside from those, there were also 273 coppers and 3 skill books. There was mock for shield warriors, silent steps for assassins, and evil whip for cursemancers. Blackie, your luck really is too good. This evil whip skill book is rare with an extremely low drop rate. It is also one of the few control and damage skills that a cursemancer has. As long as the skills level is high, it will become a godly skill for grinding monsters. Qi Feng tossed the evil whip skill book to Blackie without hesitation. He also gave 2 of the level 2 cloth armor to Blackie. Evil whip. Cast time 3 seconds. Use 5 thorns to bind a target in a fixed area. As long as the target exits the area and breaks the thorns, every thorn will cause a base damage of 20 points, with an additional 30% spell damage. Cooldown. 20 seconds. Blackie became ecstatic when he saw the skill, learning it quickly. With this skill, his battle standards would be increased by a big leap. After he switched to the 2 pieces of equipment, it was as if he turned from an air gun into an artillery cannon. Blackie's intelligence increased to 20 points, increasing his spell damage to 48, and also activating the hidden basic skill for intelligence, Rapid Cast. Rapid Cast allows the player to skip the chance of spells that are below 1.5 seconds, requiring only action to cast it. Also, allows the caster to better focus on attacking their target. As for the 2 pieces of plate armor, they were the recruit's heavy armor, and black steel armguard. However, amongst these pieces of bronze equipment, Qi Feng only fancied the black steel armguard's attributes. Black steel armguard bronze rank, plate armor. Level 3. Equipment requirements, strength 9. Defense plus 14. Strength plus 2, endurance plus 2, agility plus 1. Durability 2020. The recruit's heavy armor was just mediocre. The level 5 recruit's heavy armor could not compare to the sky armor at all. However, plate armors were still precious so it could be sold for a good price. The 2 pieces of level 3 bronze leather armor could be sold as well. Amongst these pieces of equipment, the most valuable one was the gray giant axe. It was definitely the darling of berserkers. Gray giant axe bronze rank. Level 5. Equipment requirements, strength 15. Attack power plus 21. Strength plus 5, endurance plus 2. Durability 30/30ths. It was the absolute weapon for violence. If a berserker got a hold of this weapon, their damage would become extremely violent and horrifying. If I could create a hype over this gray giant axe, it would definitely be worth a lot of money, Qi Feng slightly smiled. He had a plan in his heart to make a load of money using the gray giant axe. Afterward, Qi Feng and Blackie returned to the smithy. Master Jack, I've killed the kobold chieftain. This is its skull, Qi Feng said respectfully as he took out a kobold skull. Master Jack, who was currently hammering away on steel, glanced at the kobold skull. After he confirmed that Qi Feng had done it, he satisfyingly said, "Not bad, young man. It seems you do have the right to inherit my forging skills." System. Hidden quest. Road of forging, completed. Player has learned forging. Player has become a basic forging apprentice. Player has obtained the forging talent, forging genius. Rewarding 10 pieces of 100 refinement steel. Forging genius. After a successful forging, there is a fixed chance to increase 2 proficiency points. 2 proficiency points were not to be looked down on. It should be known that a basic forging apprentice making a piece of common equipment only had a 20% success rate. After successfully making the equipment, there was a 40% chance to obtain 1 proficiency point. Now, however, Qi Feng had a chance to obtain 2 proficiency points as long as his forging was successful, increasing his efficiency for promotion to the next rank by several folds. Becoming an intermediate forging apprentice required 1,000 proficiency points. An average player required more than 10 days, at the very least, to become one. Their supply of materials must also be continuous, as the horrifying rate of failure would waste large amounts of materials. With the forging talent, Qi Feng could now save a lot of materials, saving him quite the amount of money. On the other hand, 100 refinement steel was a good support material for making bronze equipment. It could increase the success rate of making a bronze equipment by 10%. With the forging talent and book of forging, Qi Feng couldn't help but wish to start forging equipment immediately. However, he needed materials if he wanted to forge equipment, and in a large amount as well. If he were to collect the materials himself, it would waste too much time. He could only purchase them in bulk. However, that required a lot of money. Not only that, making common equipment would not earn him any money, but instead cause him to lose it. Only bronze equipment could be sold for a good price, but that required forging designs that Qi Feng did not have. Deathly Forest is a must-go. Qi Feng thought about the bronze equipment forging design that could be obtained from within the Deathly Forest. The equipment that could be forged using the forging design was both cheap to make and had very good attributes. In his previous life, there were quite a few forgers who became rich because of that design. Just as Qi Feng turned around to leave. Young man, you truly make me look differently at you. Even after so many years of forging weapons, it is still my first time seeing a magic weapon. Master Jack called out to Qi Feng. He had sent his gaze towards the pitch-black sword hanging around Qi Feng's waist. Even if the black sword was rusty and looked like a fire poker, it could not escape the eyes of a master forger. Chapter 20 Curse of the Abyssal Blade. Qi Feng was surprised when Master Jack stopped him. Young man, are you willing to let me have a look at this sword? Master Jack looked at Qi Feng with eyes filled with a burning desire. His tone was no longer indifferent, but instead a little whispered. Qi Feng was at a loss at Master Jack's sudden initiative request. However, it seemed logical after Qi Feng gave it some thought. The preciousness of a magic weapon, not to mention a famed sword forged by a master smith, went without saying. A famed sword was the lifelong pursuit of every master forger. They would definitely want to experience it after seeing one. Seeing Qi Feng hesitating, Master Jack quickly said, you can be at ease. I only wish to see it, and I won't let it be for nothing. If you have any requests, do mention them. When Qi Feng heard this sentence, he became extremely excited. This was a master forger. Just by simply forging, he could create a piece of equipment of mysterious iron rank, secret silver rank even. His request was just to have a look at Qi Feng's sword. Qi Feng agreed without hesitation. He passed the abyssal blade over to Master Jack. NPCs couldn't steal items from players, so he was completely unworried whether or not Master Jack would do away with the abyssal blade. He would allow Master Jack to look at it however he wished afterward. Qi Feng would ask for a secret silver one-handed sword. By then, he would be able to fully display a swordsman's true strength. Master Jack held the abyssal blade that looked like a fire poker, both praising the delicateness of the blade and marveling at its strength. After looking at it for over 10 minutes, Master Jack unwillingly returned the abyssal blade to Qi Feng. Young man, this is a good and infinitely powerful sword. However, the curse on this sword is extremely evil. The more you unleash the power of this sword, the stronger the curse will get. At the very end, its wielder will become trapped in the endless abyss. It will be too difficult if you wish to control this sword with your strength, and the curse will easily devour you, Master Jack earnestly cautioned. Qi Feng knew about this point. Otherwise, he wouldn't have hesitated for such a long time before binding the abyssal blade. Master Jack, do you perhaps have any methods to weaken the curse? Qi Feng asked. Although he knew some weakening methods, he did not have the ability to carry them out right now. Young man, you should know that the master smith Ulysses forged this sword. There is only one of it in God's domain, and only one of the other 35 famed swords could match up to it. Many unimaginably terrifying existences were killed in order for these famed swords to possess unparalleled power. After death, these existences were sealed into each sword by master smiths. It was impossible to suppress these swords without extremely great power. Master Jack's tone was filled with unparalleled reverence, but he immediately smiled and said, however, it isn't that there is no way to weaken the curse. May I ask what kind of method is there? Qi Feng quickly asked. If you wish to suppress a great power, you would need an equally great power to do so. The power sealed within the sword is a curse. If you wish to weaken it, you will need to have sufficiently great luck. Master Jack lamented, in the continent of God's domain, some stones have gathered the luck of God's domain. These stones are named lucky stones. As long as you have a lucky stone, then you could counterbalance the curse. Although this piece of stone could be found throughout the whole continent, there are only a very few people who could obtain it. Even I have not seen it before. Trying to find one is truly too difficult. If you can find a piece of this stone, then I can help you weaken the curse on your sword. Seeing Qi Feng's slack expression, Master Jack shook his head in consolation, saying, young man, you have to know that the lucky stone is extremely rare. You shouldn't feel discouraged. It is normal not being able to find one. Only those who are blessed by God can obtain a lucky stone, and they are people that we cannot compare to. Master Jack, is it this piece of stone? Qi Feng slightly smiled as he took out the dark green-colored star crystal. Right, this is a lucky stone. Master Jack nodded his head after seeing the dark green-colored star crystal. However, he became stunned a moment later. He was looking at Qi Feng as if he were looking at a monster. Qi Feng shrugged his shoulders, indicating that it was nothing. Qi Feng had been sluggish before because he found out that Master Jack was able to use the lucky stone to suppress the abyssal blade. It should be known that there was quite a few master forgers in the Star Moon Kingdom. However, the number of master forgers capable of using a lucky stone to suppress the curse of a magic weapon could be counted on a single hand. Shi Feng had never thought that the Master Jack in front of him would be one of them. Master Jack, can you weaken the curse now? Shi Feng asked with anticipation. After a few moments, Master Jack finally recovered to his previous calmness. Pretending to be indifferent, he said, okay, no problem. I can finish it within half an hour. To the side, Blackie held onto his stomach as he tried his best not to laugh. However, Master Jack's stupefied expression was truly too much for Blackie. He had to run off into the forest before laughing loudly. Half an hour later, Shi Feng received the Abyssal Blade. He discovered some changes to the Abyssal Blade's introduction. The Abyssal Blade was personally created by Master Smith Ulysses, using the Black Dragon King's fangs as material. It is one of 36 famed swords, and it is ranked 31st. However, this sword has been cursed by the Black Dragon King. Aside from being able to provide the wielder with immense strength, there will be a backlash every so often. However, after being remodeled by Jack using a star crystal, the strength of the backlash has been greatly reduced. If the wielder is unable to suppress the backlash, then the wielder will receive the curse of the Black Dragon King, permanently reducing all attributes by 50%. Shi Feng's heart relaxed by a lot after seeing the description in this paragraph of words. At the very least, the backlash won't be too powerful in a short period of time. Shi Feng stored away the Abyssal Blade. Suddenly, he noticed a lot of messages that had been sent by Lonely Snow. All of the messages asked why Shi Feng had yet to arrive, and how much longer would he need to reach the Deathly Forest. Blackie, let's go dive into a dungeon. Shi Feng sent a reply message stating that he would come immediately. Because of the issue with the Abyssal Blade, Shi Feng had completely forgotten about the appointed time. He let Lonely Snow wait more than half an hour. However, Shi Feng would make the appropriate compensations within the Deathly Forest. Okay. I was just worrying that I won't have a chance to try out my new spells, Blackie said excitedly. When Shi Feng and Blackie arrived at the dungeon area of the Deathly Forest, the entire Deathly Forest was filled with people. Level 2 players were everywhere, and many players were forming parties to enter the dungeon. Open party for Deathly Forest, welcoming violent damage dealers, 4 waiting for 2. Effective party for Deathly Forest, we are just missing a powerful healer, guaranteed to clear. Seeing such a scene, Shi Feng shook his head slightly. He walked towards Lonely Snow who was waving his arm. In Shi Feng's previous life, the players had been stuck at the Deathly Forest for a long time. The dungeon was only cleared when the majority of players were level 5. Brother Expert, you're finally here. Those friends of mine are already becoming impatient from waiting. Let us hurry. Lonely Snow was burning with anxiety when he saw Shi Feng leisurely walking over. Afterward, Lonely Snow brought Shi Feng and Blackie to the gathering point of the party. Lonely, this is the expert you said. I thought he was a person with 3 heads and 6 arms, but it seems he's nothing more than this. The male cleric, Wordless Summer Knight saw Shi Feng wearing novice equipment. There was also a fire poker that hung around his waist. It looked as if it was some trash weapon he had randomly picked up. When Wordless Summer Knight saw this, he couldn't help but ridicule. Brother Wordless, how could you say such things about Brother Expert? He is a dignified beta tester, so he definitely must have something extraordinary. Otherwise, how would he dare to take all equipment for swordsman and cursemancer? The shield warrior, battle to the end, stood to the side and sneered. The two of them had already felt displeasure for Shi Feng. This was because Shi Feng had wanted to take away all plate armor and mage equipment immediately after joining. Wouldn't they just be working away for nothing? If it were not for their boss wanting to have a look at Shi Feng, they would have long since invited other players and dove into the dungeon. Now that they saw Shi Feng in such poor equipment, they could criticize him and force him to leave. Lonely Snow wanted to retort as Shi Feng was someone he had personally invited. However, Shi Feng's equipment did not give Lonely Snow any chance to do so. He could only stare in silence. Alright, let's party up. A lot of people have already entered the Deathly Forest. If we don't dive in, we won't have a chance at competing for the first kill. As the party's leader, the handsome male ranger, waving slowly but surely interrupted as he said. Blackie wanted to argue back, but Shi Feng stopped him. Shi Feng thought nothing of the two people's ridicule. No matter what he said, he and Blackie had left them waiting for more than half an hour, so couldn't he just let them speak a few more sentences? Just as they finished partying up, the shield warrior furiously said, crap, this noob is just level 1. He's just here to swindle equipment. Boss, Deathly Forest is a level 2 dungeon. If we let a level 1 noob enter the dungeon, aren't we just waiting to get wiped? Wordless Summer Knight looked towards the ranger, waving slowly, showing his displeasure. Lonely Snow was equally shocked when he saw Shi Feng's level. It should be known that many players had already risen to level 2. How is it possible for a beta tester not to reach level 2? Boss waving slowly looked towards Shi Feng. Before this, he still had some hope for Shi Feng, but now it was all gone. He suddenly said in a cold tone, did you die once before this? Nope. Shi Feng shook his head, honestly saying, however, entering Deathly Forest at level 1 is enough. Then you can go now. We don't need such an expert like you here. We hope you can understand. Waving slowly coldly said, his brows slightly wrinkled. Boss, this must be a misunderstanding. How about we try it out first? Lonely Snow explained. Try it out. Wordless Summer coldly laughed, then who will be responsible when we die? You should know that we still lose experience if we die in a dungeon. Although it is low, that is still 10%. Can this noob repay such a loss? Wordless, don't make it hard for Lonely. Waving slowly repeatedly said, Lonely, I know you are trying to cover for this swordsman, but I have to take responsibility for our party. I will only find veterans to enter the dungeon. I will not waste time partying up with a novice. You have two choices now, one is to follow us into the dungeon, two is to leave the party together with them. I will leave the party. Qi Feng did not want to embarrass Lonely Snow. He immediately left the party, turning to leave. Blackie, we'll party up with other people and enter the dungeon. Alright. Blackie smiled with a, hee, leaving the party without a second thought. Humph. The expert's identity has been seen through. At least he has some self-awareness to leave after knowing he can't swindle equipment anymore. The shield warrior grinned and jeered, Lonely, you really are gullible. Such a noob would trick only you. You need to learn properly from boss waving slowly in the future. Lonely Snow's face turned livid after hearing this. However, he did not feel that he was mistaken. Qi Feng was definitely an expert. Boss waving slowly, sorry for this. Lonely Snow chose to leave the party. He was prepared to join Qi Feng in order to determine whether or not his judgment was correct. Waving slowly was immediately stunned. He never thought Lonely Snow would be so decisive. It was simply a foolish decision. He would have long since chased Lonely Snow away if it wasn't because he had good techniques. Wordless Summer Night looked towards Lonely Snow, saying with a cold smile, Lonely, you better not regret the choice you made. You'll regret when we clear the deathly forest and obtain great equipment. You'll regret it for 10 years, 20 years that you didn't follow boss waving slowly.